So we figured out that the tanks need to come down, the fuel has to be dropped, and we're gonna do that today. We're gonna run to Rural King, get us a siphon pump, transfer pump, and I gotta go to my dad's work, grab his truck because he's got a 3/4 ton diesel. I gotta go to my old work, get a tote, and go down to about an hour south of there, go drain my tanks, drive an hour back, unload the fuel, and you guys just stick around. It'll be an interesting day. Let's do it. So what we've done is we've come to work, the old work, and I'm borrowing a tank from them, and we're going to pump all the old fuel into this tank and bring it back to them. So stay tuned. All right, folks, here's what we got. We got a siphon hose down in there. A little 12-volt pump pumping into this guy. We'll see how it works. I'll post the pictures and stuff. I'll plug those in right here of what the fuel looked like when we dropped the tanks last night. We just pulled the plugs off the bottom, and what we found in there was not good. So we're draining this fuel and we're gonna start fresh. I don't want to damage the engine or cost myself anymore. So as I was saying before, we had to borrow my dad's Duramax because it's a 3/4 ton. And my Dodge probably could have done it, but it was like max payload, and just because it says it can do it doesn't mean you should. So drop a like for that one, because we've all seen that guy. So yeah, we're going to get this thing done, load it up, and head out there and take this fuel up to them. I actually in exchange for cleaning my tanks, I'm actually going to give them all this diesel fuel. So it'll be a break even. I mean, $1,200 worth of fuel, but what do you do? So it'll be all right. Hopefully we get these tanks cleaned out and there's nothing horrible in there, but I got a bad feeling about it, so we'll see. Well, we're probably 3/4 the way through the first tank. $75, $100, $125. 120 gallon tank, so we're getting close. Getting close, about to have to switch them. All right, I want you guys to see the color of this fuel. Check this out. It's not what fuel is supposed to look like. I'll show you what fuel is supposed to look like. Go over here to this truck and show you what the inside of a tank is supposed to look like. See how you can see through it? That's what it's supposed to look like. Well, we are now in the second tank. And looks like we're up to about 180 gallons or so. Pretty nasty fuel. This truck actually has twin 150s on it. Right there. So it's 150 gallon capacity, and I had probably 7/8 of a tank. So it's got a lot of fuel in it, a lot of junk fuel. So we're gonna keep pumping, see what happens.
Kicking dust in a new direction. Johnny boy, you built a house of love upon the hills of Tennessee, yeah, where hummingbirds are flying in the sky. Dreams are coming true.
All right, so we now have, the tanks are empty, and we have drained it all into the storage tank. And what we're gonna do now is, I just soaked the inside of the tanks with acid, pressurized acid, so it's a foam. And I just soaked the insides of it and put some gasoline in there and kind of sprayed it around. And then in a few minutes, I'm gonna let that stuff sit. A few minutes, I'm gonna drop the plug on the bottom of the tank and see what all comes out, inspect it again, and see how it looks. I mean, if it still looks bad, we're gonna have to drop the tanks, but I'm gonna try to avoid that at all costs because it's kind of a lot of work. Newer trucks wouldn't be that bad. This is an old truck, old bolts, lots of rust, you know, rusty bolts, etc. So we're gonna try to avoid dropping the tanks, but we've at least got the bad fuel out, and we're gonna hopefully get this thing cleaned out, rinsed out, and get her some new fuel and see how she runs. Hopefully it clears up. I had a misfire. It was missing. You could hear it, dot 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 dot, and every time it would dot 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 dot, it would puff white smoke out the stack. So we knew something was up, and it may still have a problem, but this fuel's definitely junk. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's a combination of this truck sat for a long time. It sat for about 4 to 5 years. Just driving it around a little bit here and there, not really enough to get anything stirred up. And then once I started running it, you know, driving it bobtail around, trying to get the fuel work through it, I think it agitated all that algae, started stirring it up, and that's what ended up causing most of the problems we're having. So hopefully with fresh fuel, I mean, having bad fuel to begin with, and then putting probably some not great fuel in it after that, which I didn't know of at the time, but putting bad fuel in it and having old fuel in it, kind of just a combination of things that didn't lead for anything good. So we'll put the rest of this chemicals in there, get it cleaned out, rinsed out, add some fuel to it, and see how she runs. Let's see.
Can I get a, oh yeah?